Hey everyone, Curtis here from Breaklight Productions, bringing to you another music video reaction. This time it's for Deftones. My mind is a mountain. I do know who Deftones are. I love their music. I actually know how to play one of their songs on my stylophone. But yeah, let's jump on into it. Brand new music video. Oh, good edits there. Going to those thermal visions on the beat. Bit of strobe. I feel like that's artificial strobe. Cool, very subtle lighting on these band shots. Looks like it's just the one side light. It looks like we've also got an artificial grain over the top as well. Ooh! Okay, that's actually feeling like it's like physical strobe. The red's fucking cool though. Okay. Really smooth edits when it does go to that sort of outdoor shot. Good timing on the cuts. Oh. Oh, that's interesting lighting. Again, I feel like that's a side light, but it's really subtle. Yeah. Difficult to say. That's definitely a side light, but then there's somewhere it looks like it's just like a backlight. Woo! This strobing's awesome. Nice bit of overlay at the end. I do like this sort of, I don't know what you would call it, floor shot? Like shadow on floor shot? That's really cool. Yeah, okay, let's talk about it. First off, and I think anyone that's watched a few music videos on this channel, like this is a really straightforward, simple music video. It's, and you see, this is why it sort of shocks me when I watch like The Warning or Freeze the Fall, or you know, sort of these bands that prior to this channel I'd never really heard of before, and they're doing these crazy storylines and high concept stuff, and it's incredible. Like even the music video that I just reacted to, like, you know, it had the guy from The Raid in it, you know, doing an action scene at the end, and I'm like, holy crap. And then something like this by such a big band that is essentially just a performance. Now that's not a bad thing, that's not a criticism, because I think there's still a lot to talk about here and a lot of really beautiful shots. And music videos like this are important and very important, because if you can't nail this as like, you know, as a beginner film person, don't go on to like, oh, now I'm gonna tackle some, you know, $2 million storyline thing, blah blah blah. Like, no, you got to like learn to walk before you can run. If you can't nail an interesting performance music video, it's going to be a lot harder for you to do like the narrative stuff and make it look good and stuff. That's just my personal opinion. Like, and not to mention, a lot of bands want some form of performance in their narrative music video. So, like, you gotta learn how to do this anyway. So, that's my opinion. But yeah, so there's heaps to talk about here. First thing I want to talk about is the cleanness of the edits. It is falling right on that beat, and that's really awesome and hard to do. Now, okay, it used to be hard to do because you'd have to listen to it, you'd have to know your time signatures and be like literally at your computer listening to it being like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Nowadays it's quite easy. For example, on DaVinci, which is the editing software I use, if you chuck in a song, you can actually say show music beats, and an AI goes through it and it chops it into beats that you can then lock to. Now, the important thing about that, and why some people might be like, oh, that takes away the art of it or whatever. Just because you're landing on the beat, like, doesn't mean it's a clean edit, doesn't mean that it like works, you know. Now, don't get me wrong, psychologically it feels really good, like in this, where it's falling on that like one, you know, and that's what this does perfectly. But this can only do that because it's purely performance. If you've got narrative shots aren't always going to land on the beat, but also narrative stuff might not, like, it might suit a particular lyric more. Like, for example, if you've got a bit where it says, I held up a pen, right? You might want the shot of the guy holding the pen on, like, pen. But that doesn't mean, like, if it's in a weird time signature or whatever, that beat might not perfectly match up with the P of pen. And so it's going to be weird because it might be like, for that split second, a shot of this guy holding the pen, and then it says pen. Just doesn't work. I know it's hard to like describe without actually like opening up editing stuff and blah blah blah, so maybe that's a future video. But it's essentially, if you're doing narrative stuff, you don't always want it to cut on the beat. Sometimes you want it to cut on a specific word, a specific tonal shift, etc. And those sometimes fall out of the like beats. So while it does make something easier that's purely performance, getting an AI to do all the like beats in your song on your editing program does not therefore make you a perfect, flawless editor. So yeah, this one, awesome. Everything falls on the beat because, again, it's purely performance. I love all the close-ups. A lot of this lighting is just one directional. Most of it's side light. And what you'll see is that the band wearing a lot of black, a lot of, like, because there's not a backlight, some of them do fall into the darkness around them, but that's okay. because like the side light does enough of a job where it's not just like lighting a bit of the front, but it also gives a tiny bit of separation. I also don't think with the amount of black and white in this that like them falling into the void a bit is like a bad thing. I think that sort of suits the tone of the music video. A lot of the like close-ups, as I was saying, really beautifully shot. Relatively, what you'll notice is a lot of it is relatively static. It's just like static shots around the place, not much movement happening. But again, because of the energy the editor's given us, I think that's possible and okay. As well as like the obviously the band themselves. Love the little thermal like things that sort of come in on the edits. The fucking strobe lights, and then when it goes to the red with strobe lights as well, really fucking cool. Really cool. Like I love red lighting. I you know, that's why I would name my business Brake Light. But yeah, it's just super cool. And again, it adds another layer, because if it was just white lighting this whole time, people could start getting a bit bored. But the introduction of the red lighting, it brings in that, okay, we're going to go for a shift now. And it lines up with sort of the song as well. So, you know, you've got that side to it as well. I also love how like dark in the color grade that they've made the black in the red lighting stuff, because yeah, like it is black, which yeah, really is nice contrast with the red overall. I still feel like a lot of those are side lit, but it's hard to tell. Like it might be a bit of, I guess it would be a backlight as well, just coming through maybe like diffusion that they're standing in front of, but hard to tell, honestly. Like, yeah, hard to tell with that one, not too sure. The thermal edits, awesome. We've seen that done before, super clean, not overused in this where it feels like jarring or anything. It's done very choice moments. Same with the strobing, same with the red as well. Like they use it very minimalistically. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, just to elevate the music video, not to like become the music video, which I really appreciate. There's also an artificial grain thrown over the top. You can really see it during those thermal shots. Yeah, super nice. It gives it that sort of grittier, you know, film vibe. Because yeah, if it was clean, you know, spotless 4K footage, it would just, I don't know, it would feel a bit off. But again, as we've also spoken about in terms of YouTube compression and all of that, with so much of this music video being black, and honestly, I don't see much compression. Like I don't see many like blobs of pixels floating around. Like it is very clean, so that simple bit of grain could be breaking that up enough where it's not noticeable. So super cool. Love this like side shot of him singing where like the band are blurred out in the background. That's a really cool shot. Again, you could just have him with the void behind him, but it makes it more interesting to have these like these bokeh bandmates just like in the background. And there's also moments where it like pulls focus back and forth between the two. Outside of that, I think that's all I can really talk about on this one. I would say my favorite shot is this sort of high angle looking down, where it's the back of the vocalist. He's got the light behind him, and so we're mostly focused on his shadow on the floor. That's really cool. That's really beautiful. What I also like about it is it's ticking every part of the composition box. You if you think about this, like you could have had this where the camera's perfectly like behind him or perfectly like around the side of him, but by having it on this high like diagonal angle looking down, you have this beautiful then where like almost basically every quadrant of the like frame is being used. You have like both of the sort of the left half of the screen is him, the right hand is the shadow, the bottom half is his legs and the shadow's legs, top half is like his arms and the shadow's arms. So it's this perfect like covering all those quadrants, and a really interesting angle that I think anyone that wants to, even like photographers, if you want to understand how to get really good composition, this is how. Like, don't think of things when you're lining up an angle as, oh, you only have like up and down and left and right. Like you have, every direction possible, every angle is possible. So like take your time, look around, what's an interesting composition for the frame that a lesser cinematographer or lesser photographer wouldn't have noticed. So yeah, all in all, super cool. I'm sure I'll listen to this 5 more times, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.